This Boomers team boasts a lineup like never before. These superstars have unfinished business on the world stage. Egos will be checked at the door as they play for each other and their country. The road to the World Cup starts now.
One game down, 6 to go in this pre-World Cup International Basketball Series featuring Australia, Canada, Olympic champions the USA and New Zealand. Opening night honours belong to the Canadians who shocked the Boomers by 20 points here in Perth last night. The Boomers will welcome the quick turnaround and surely embrace the extra pressure they now find themselves under as we welcome you to RAC Arena for Game 2 between Australia and Canada. Hello everybody, I'm John Casey. Great to have your company. We're closing in on the 2019 FIBA World Cup in China in 2 weeks, and two men who have been there and done that, Shane Hill and Andrew Gaze. What are your expectations here tonight?
Well, I think we were all shocked last night, but you tip your hat to Canada. They were outstanding both at the offensive and defensive end. I think Australia come with a different mindset, a little bit more intensity at the defensive end, and if you take Patty Mills' stats out of it, they're only 2 from 21 from the three-point line. That won't happen again.
Well, we certainly hope not, don't we? Because it was a very poor shooting display. You've got to give Canada a lot of credit. And then at the other end of the floor, I thought Kevin Pangos was outstanding. He had 18 points. Kyle Wilshere, he's got the ability to knock down the three. And the other one is the Florida standout, Andrew Newhart. He was fantastic. He's only 19 years of age, and when you think of the experienced guards he was up against, he looked them in the eye and really got the better of him. Here he is here. The way in which he was so crafty using the on-ball screen was fantastic. At the other end of the floor, Australia, they need to do a better job in defensive transition, as that example shows, but they also need to find a way to get it through more hands. They were very terminal on the offensive end, prepared to take the early shot, and when you're not shooting it well, that's very rarely a good formula. Spoke to Lou Longley before the game, and they went through the stats. On 36 possessions, they only had one pass in their offensive set. Now, that's not the way Boomers basketball has been played at Rio, and I think you'll see a correction in that area this afternoon.
Well, we're certainly going to see some changes to the starting five. There'll be two, in fact, and we'll tell you about those in just a moment. But the face we will see that we didn't see last night is Aaron Baines. And he was talking with Corey Williams as he arrived here a little earlier.
Aaron, how you doing?
Gary, how's it going, mate?
Good. You were top 5 in offensive rebounds. You led the Boomers in scoring. You were top 10 at the last World Cup. How good is it feeling to join your team?
Kerry, it's good to be back with everyone, you know. It's fun to be out here and running around with the blokes. So, you know, get them put on the green and gold and run around with your mates. That's what it's about.
Last night, you were on the sidelines watching the game. How frustrating was it that sometimes you weren't out there?
You know, Kerry, it's one of those things. Like, you want to be out there, of course, but you know how it is when you play. Some of the things you got to see how the other guys play as well. And, you know, it's a positive that you can watch the other guys and try and learn from them while you're watching it, mate.
What are the keys to winning today?
Keys to winning today. We just got to come out and play Boomer defense, play Boomer offense. You know, if we play the style of game that we're used to playing in the international events, you know, that's what it comes down to. I think it was one of those things we haven't played it for a few years yesterday, and so a few of us, you know, getting ready for it, getting right into it, Kerry. So, yeah, that'll be one of the keys.
Aaron Baines there, he averaged 6 points, 5 rebounds in 51 games for the Celtics last season. He's off to the Phoenix Suns for year 8 of his NBA career. And I'm sure he's going to enjoy playing alongside Jock Landale, Hammer, because Landale last night was a star. 18 points, 8 boards. He played 28 minutes, the most of any Australian, because you couldn't sit him down. Every time he was out there, he was contributing something.
Well, he was exceptional, wasn't he? And it shouldn't come as a shock to us because he dominated the NBA Summer League. 18 points a game over there in the NBA and 18 points last night. He's got great versatility and mobility as well. We know he can play inside. He's got that mobility to finish around the basket, but he can also get to the three-point line. Shot over 40% in the NBA Summer League. Didn't get too many up last night, but I reckon he might tonight.
One of the dominant forces for Canada last night was Kevin Pangos. He top scored for them with 18 points, finished with an equal game high 6 assists, along with Matthew Dellavedova. And Drewy, he was so impressive.
Oh, my word, he was very crafty around the basket. You see the way he's got that patience on those on-ball screens. He also can get to the rim. And I think the thing I liked about him most, he can create for himself in the on-ball situation because he can shoot the three ball. There you see a switch action. He just looks him in the eye and knocks down the three ball. But he has the ability to make his teammates better. He can create for his teammates, find the open man. So I love him. I put him in the superstar category. Hammond, not so much, but I think he's a superstar, and I like the way he goes about it. He's a pro. Before this game, he was out here for an hour going through some pretty intense drills.
And he also spent some time pre-game with our own Corey Williams.
Kevin Pangos, 18 points, 6 assists, 7 for 10 from the field, 4 for 6 from the three. You must be feeling good about your performance last night.
Yeah, it felt good. You know, knocked some shots down, and you know, our team played really solid, and we got a good win, so we got to be happy with it.
19 assists, 6 players in double figures. How important is it to share the ball?
Really important. You know, we're a team that has to play together, get each other easy looks and stuff, and I thought we did a good job of that yesterday.
You guys started with a player list of 17 players in the NBA. You have 1. Australia's playing with 7, and you come in here game 1 and win by 20. How important is confidence going into the World Cup?
Yeah, it's huge, but it's early. You know, that was one game. You know, we played well. We shot the ball well. We can't get caught up in that one game, that one result. We got to continue to grow.
Well, Canada were outstanding last night. The Boomers will look to improve here this evening. It's a recipe for some great action. Stick around. We'll have the starting fives, the opening tip, and a whole lot more from RAC Arena in Perth in just a moment. Welcome back to RAC Arena in Perth. Another healthy crowd here in the West Australian capital is building as Canada and Australia get set to lock horns once more. Really looking forward to the contest, a chance for the Australians to improve against at home with their home fans here expecting improvement, and Canada on top of the world. So much to look forward to here. And now let's get closer to the action for the official introductions of both teams. Let's hand it over to the MC, Jared Walsh.
We need you at your absolute loudest tonight to get the boys over the line. We want to get the job done, and we are going to start off with the visitors representing the national team of Canada. Number 1, Kevin Pangos. Number 2, Dwayne Notice. Number 3, Melvin Ishim. Number 10, Kaiser Kajami Keed. Number 11, Andrew Nemhard. Number 12, Aaron Best. Number 15, O'Shea Brissett. Number 17, Owen Klassen. Number 21, Thomas Scrub. Number 23, Phil Scrub. Number 24, Kim Birch. And number 33, Carl Wiltshire. Head coach of Team Canada, Nick Nurse. Now it's time for the home team, Perth. Who's ready to see the Boomers? That's more like it. It starts with number 2, Nathan Sobey. Number 3, Cam Glidden. Number 4, Chris Golding. Number 5, Paddy Mills. Number 6, Andrew Bogan. Number 7, Joe Ingles. Number 8, Matthew Telemanova. Number 11, Nick Kay. Number 12, Aaron Burns. Number 34, Chuck Landale. Number 43, Jonah Bowden. And number 55, Mitch Creek. Head coach of your Australian Boomers, Andre Lamanis. Assistant coaches, Luke Longley, Adam Capon, Will Weaver, and David Patrick. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please be upstanding for the national anthem of Canada to be performed by Astrid Repepi.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all the sun's command.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please remain upstanding for the national anthem of Australia?
Australians, oh, let us rejoice. Oh, we are young and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is goodbye sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
A great sense of expectation here at RAC Arena in Perth. Both teams have made 2 changes to their starting fives from last night, and we'll get to those in just a moment. But ahead of that, let's get the thoughts of both coaches, Andre Lemanis and Nick Nurse, and how they thought last night unfolded.
Didn't think we established our identity defensively. We didn't play how we expect to play as Boomers, so hopefully we'll see an improved effort in that area tonight. And offensively, again, just a little bit out of rhythm. Not a lot of recognisable offence, which meant we shot a lot of contested shots. So hopefully a little bit more spacing today, a bit better ball movement, and some more open looks.
I think everybody's, pretty much under the understanding that, the Boomers are going to play physical, and you're going to have to stand in there and play them. Sometimes when you know hits are coming, you say you got to hit first, and we might have done that last night. I think we played pretty aggressively. I don't know. I'm still trying to learn the character of our guys and our team, but I think we were the aggressors. I think on defense and on offense, and usually good things happen.
Well, he may not look it because his tone's pretty monotone, but he'd be thrilled with what happened last night. And tonight they're going to mix things up a little, as you mentioned, Case. It's a different starting five. He wants to look at different combinations as the Boomers do, but I think for the Boomers, they might need to tighten up their rotation just a little.
Well, and for Australia, when you talk about hitting first, no doubt that came from Canada last night. Australia have to get on the front foot. It'll be led by Matthew Dellavedova and Joe Ingles, and now with Baines back in the lineup, I expect a much better improvement.
And 2010 NBL MVP Corey Williams, who have you got under notice tonight?
As Hammer just said, Joe Ingles needs to put his stamp on this game early. I look for him to be aggressive, and Delhi has to turn around from that 0-for-9 performance yesterday.
Well, certainly he'd be looking to just sharpen up, and much has been made of the fact that Delhi's been working on changing his shot, and I think at this stage of his career, you see that as something of a risk, Andrew?
I wouldn't. If I was him at his stage of his career, I admire the fact that he wants to get better, but I would have thought just put in the hours, which he does, in and just trying to refine it rather than reconstruct it. And to me, it's a significant change that he's trying to make, so I respect that, but I'm not sure that's going to help Australia in the short term.
I actually like it. I think he's done the work. I think it flows a lot more. He was really short on his jump shots last night. Maybe that is because they've just come out of camp, but I think it's way too early to be able to judge yet.
And here's the surprise starting five for Australia. A couple of changes last night. No Paddy Mills nor Andrew Bogut tonight at all. Chris Goulding gets the start along with Ingles and Dellavedova. Aaron Baines comes into the lineup, and Jock Landale has held his spot, as you would expect, after he dominated last night. And for Canada, well, no Kevin Pangos to start tonight, nor O'Shea Brissett, who was in the starting five. They'll go with Melbourne Edgem, Nemhart, and along with Phil Scrubb, Kem Birch and Kyle Wiltshire. The last three did start last night, and Nick Nurse told us pre-game that he wanted to give minutes, and they're in that luxury position now. They've got a win under their belt. He wants to find out who he's going to take to the World Cup.
And not just who he's going to take, but who is going to be playing the minutes. What's going to be his 8-man rotation? And from what we saw yesterday,
Newhart is the one. He was a sensation, and only a young man, 19 years of age, but he played well beyond his years, and I think that he's going to be a big factor, even if Corey Joseph does come back into the lineup.
Well, and when we talk about rotations, Andre Lemanis had 21 different rotations as far as a group of 5. And that was way too many. I think he needs to start establishing what players are going to play at certain times and how those roles will blend.
And you know, today it's also about the brand Basketball Australia as well, and the result becomes a lot more significant.
Underway here at RAC Arena in Perth, game 2 of this series between Canada and Australia. And as they did last night, Australia controlled the tip, but it was Canada who scored first last night. Golding looking energetic down low. Landale, double team from behind. Good rejection coming across there. Strong work from Wiltshire. And now Nembhard gets beyond Dellavedova, found some space in the paint and comes up with the opening score.
Wow, that's special. He's so controlled when he gets in there. It almost looks like he's casually strolling through, but makes a pretty tough play look easy.
Golding, Dellavedova. They find Baines, who has the ability to hit from deep. This time can't. And the rebound snatched by Ejim. 45 seconds played, term number 1. Nembhard getting involved, and they go to work now from close range. Ken Birch worried out of the points there. Thought he was fouled. A wry smile on his face. Referees didn't see it that way. Here's Ingles looking for Landale. Looked like a foot violation. That went unwhistled as well. Here's Birch. Took on Dellavedova. Knocked him down. Again, no whistle. Active hands from Ingles here. He gets the steal. Draws contact. First foul is called on Phil Scrubb.
Well, I can say right now, that was 3 bad calls in a row that were missed by the referee. And the Canadians certainly got one missed as well. Violation that should have been called for Joe Ingles. But I like seeing Joe Ingles in pick and rolls. He was absolutely outstanding. That's a charge, no doubt about that. And I think the more pick and rolls Joe Ingles is in, good things will happen.
Not sure where the unsportsmanlike has gone in transition either on that one.
Interesting no call. Golding, quick release, couldn't complete it. Now Landale had good position there. Wiltshire was forced to foul. He's going to pick up his first personal. Second team foul on Canada. Referees working this game, Nico Fernandez and James Boyer, were both here last night. And joining them this evening is Craig Copes. There's Nico. And Craig Copes is in his first international game at the men's basketball. So a big night for him. It's here in Perth. Golding, Baines looking for the 3 ball, caught it short. Long rebound came to Dellavedova. Golding, Landale did well to get that pass. It was slow. And a chance now with the shot clock rolling to 7. He works into the paint with a hook shot, couldn't finish it, and the rebound grabbed by Nembhard.
I know Baines has been working on his perimeter shot and he wants to make it, but his first 2 attempts for the game so far have been 3 balls.
Ejim hands over. This is Phil Scrubb. Working against Golding. Shot clock works to 7. Penetration comes, reluctant to take the shot. Hands the ball outside. Firing unsuccessfully there was Ken Birch. And a chance for Joe Ingles to bring Australia forward. Baines in a 2-man game. Hard to the hoop. Ingles worried out of the points on a game. This time by Ken Birch, but they get it back. And Baines strong with it. Dellavedova, quick outlet pass. Gets it involved to Landale. Australia's opening score.
And that's what Landale provides, that mobility, his cuts. I like the fact they've got it to him in the block as Dellavedova does what Dally does best.
Golding goes back to Dellavedova, off glass, puts Australia in front for the first time.
I like the extended D, put pressure on the young fella. He's only 19 years of age, and Delhi, there's none better at putting that ball pressure on than Matthew Dellavedova.
Penetration, nice work coming from Phil Scrubb. Pass was deflected. They've got problems here, Canada. They've coughed it up again. Dellavedova, Golding in support. Can't finish it. Good pressure provided there by Andrew Nembhard. And now a foul will be called on Dellavedova as he gets all up and personal with Kyle Wiltshire.
There is a lot of contact that has been let go in this game.
It is. It's vastly different to what you see in an NBL game, but I think it's good preparation because when you see, if you've watched a bit of European basketball over the last 12 months, they do let them play a little bit more than what we see in Australia. So this will hopefully provide us with better preparation for what lies ahead.
Nembhard gets away from Dellavedova, dances into the paint. They stood off him. He'll be disappointed he didn't finish that. Now Dellavedova pushing it. Landale, who was again body checked there by Wiltshire, but that goes unwhistled. Ball out of court. Canada possession.
Great pass again by Delhi. And Jock Landale, he is wanting a foul, but just lost the handle of it. I like the way he's running the floor, though, and great find by Delhi.
Nembhard bumped by Dellavedova. They look a little more physical tonight, the Boomers. Pass for Phil Scrubb. Now Edgem fires. Ingles from behind. Just worried him out of it, and now off and running, Joe Ingles. It's it back from Landale. Baines posting up down low against Kem Birch. Ingles, pocket pass. Landale dances into the paint. He draws contact, and he's off to the free throw line.
And again, I'll repeat myself. You put Joe Ingles in a pick and roll and great things happen, and that's the mobility we've spoken about with Landale. He's 6'11". He's running the lane like he's a guard, so that sort of mobility, good hands, provides good basketball.
And Canada, when those on-ball situations, they're half showing, and that time Wilshere was sort of in no man's land, and when you've got a guy that can thread the needle like Joe Ingles, it puts a lot of pressure on your weak side rotation.
Good to see Landale come up with the goods from the stripe. He's 73% last season in Serbia with Partizan. Last night, though, it was just 2 of 5. He took 5 of Australia's 6 free throws, and he gets the job done there. So Australia has scored 6 unanswered points here. Got the early momentum, which wasn't the case 24 hours ago. Pressure up the floor as well. Golding just keeping Phil Scrubb honest. Almost 4 minutes played opening quarter. Golding goes on with it. As Scrubb, they have worked out of court. Excellent job from Chris Golding.
And that's not what Golding's known for, but I love his enthusiasm to be able to change the energy of this game, and it's led by Matthew Dellavedova, but it becomes contagious when your leaders get up and in like that. Good things happen.
Certainly didn't see much of that last night, so there's the first noticeable change and adjustment, and it's a good one.
Dellavedova got some problems, forced into a tough shot, can't finish it, loose ball. Nice job there from Kem Birch to keep it alive for Canada. So Shea Brissett brings it up the floor. Nembhard guarded by Golding, gets away from him now. Baines to beat. Birch rushing to the hoop. Baines moving is called for the foul. Second team foul on Australia. Dellavedova also has one.
And well coached by Canada as far as you have a look at the pick and roll. When Matthew Dellavedova's involved, they're not leaving the shooters out of the corners. They know he is a pass first point guard. That time he got stuck in the key and had to put up a tough shot.
Reigning NBA championship coach Nick Nurse. Phil Scrubb thought about the shot, handed over. Birch, tough one, can't finish it. Contact again for him, no whistle. Dellavedova gets it from Baines, goes back in that direction. They got Landale throwing it down.
Just finds a way to lead the break, Landale. Many times we see him in transition, but that time just outruns his opponent, outsprints him and gets the reward.
8 unanswered points here from Australia. Brissett off glass comes up with the 2 to break the drought for Canada. Mitch Creek standing by to check in along with Nick Kay. And also Owen Klassen for Canada at the subs bench as well. Middle stages of the opening quarter. It's a 4-point edge for the Boomers. Landale down low, off glass, adds another 2. He's got 8 of Australia's 10, and they are cooking at the moment.
And a great read by Landale. They switched that little pick and roll, and he went straight to the basket, exactly where he wanted, and great pass from Golding.
Kem Birch worked himself into trouble, and Baines relieved him of it. Ingles, Golding on the other wing, doesn't need help. Caught it deep, and the long rebound grabbed by Phil Scrubb. Brissett works hard up the floor. Screen came from Birch. Dellavedova in all sorts of trouble there at the moment. And Birch, nice soft touch as he comes up with his opening score. And Dellavedova with Landale in support. Hands over to Golding. A little over 4 minutes out from quarter time. Ingles, penetration, attracted all the attention. Baines, Golding, 6 on the shot clock. Fires unsuccessfully. Melvin Edgem with the rebound. One of the new starters tonight for Canada, getting some treatment from Ingles. Good ball movement. Phil Scrubb fires. It's deep. Golding the rebound. So neither team lighting it up at the moment. Australia 4 of 14 from the field. Canada 3 of 9. And foul, the 4th team foul is called on Canada in this opening term.
There's Jock Landale running the floor, and Dellavedova, oh, that was the hockey assist there. Able to read the game so well. And there's the foul to reach behind. I hate to say it, but it looks like Kevin Pangos The reason why he was working so hard before the game, that he may not be seeing much action this afternoon either.
So Australia make multiple substitutions. Sobey on the floor, picks up the dribble. Here's Mitch Creek, his former Adelaide teammate. Both be at rival clubs next NBL season. Baines! Well, he wanted Nick Kay in the corner, but Nick Kay had already moved on. Baines has been influential so far. Canada, they trail by 6, 3.5 to play here, opening quarter action. And checking into the game, Kaiser Kajami Keane was impressive last night. Draws the foul on Golding. Third team foul on Australia. Golding gets his first.
Well, one ref's called 8-second violation. Another ref's called a foul. So to me, that is a very, very soft call based on the precedents that have been set so far in this game.
Yeah, just a little bit too much with the body, and I guess because it's so in the open court that hard to ignore. Certainly thought it was a foul.
Brissett had some trouble restarting. Finds Aaron Best. Guarded by Mitch Creek. Slapping away at the ball. Klassen. Hands over. Nembhard. Found some space. Fires. Caught it short. Nick Kay the rebound. And they're off and running here. Golding. It's got Sobey on the other wing. Creek joining in. Golding wants to go solo. Down to the baseline. Feeds Baines. Creek off and running. Now they get it to Sobey. Shot clock works to 10 for the Boomers, and Sobey looks for some penetration, spinning, no room for the shot. Feeds Nick Kay, the Perth Wildcat, delights the home fans.
He needed that for his confidence. He was another one that was a little down yesterday. Didn't get to play a lot. Just looked a little nervous, and that'll help with the confidence.
Firing this time with a quick reply. O'Shea Brissett comes up with the goods. So 5 in the game for him on 2 of 2 shooting, including Canada's only 3. And over the limit in terms of team fouls here, Canada. Free throws to come.
And I think this game is going to be really important for guys like Chris Golding, Sobey and Glidden. Expecting an 8 or 9-man rotation, really probably only one of those is going to pick up a role like that. And I think that this is a good chance for Andre Lemanis to figure out which one is going to, or what the pecking order will be.
Well, I think you can throw all of the guys that are on the court currently into that batch as well. When you look at Bolden, who didn't play a lot last night, Kay the same, Creek, who's just come in late. All of these guys really need to establish themselves to build confidence for Andre Lemanis to say, yep, you're going to play a role and you're going to be in that 8-9-man rotation.
Golding, the only starter on the floor for Australia at the moment. Nathan Sobey became a father on Monday. His wife Cece and new baby Harley home watching in Brisbane. We send our best wishes to them. Oh, Creek, they've coughed it up here, Canada. Golding for the 3. Couldn't finish it. Klassen with a rebound and gets it wide to Aaron Best. Working against Golding. Took over 2 minutes out from quarter time. Elevation came from Kaiser Kajami Keane, and he knocks down the triple.
And that's a shot for Chris Golding that just has to be money. He's 0 for 4 tonight. For him to be able to eke out minutes at this level, that's what he provides, and he's had some pretty good looks.
Here's Sobey in traffic. Shot clock rolls to single digits in a mismatch. He's got Brissett on the retreat here. More free throws to come. Golding signaling he wants a break, and Ingles is going to check back in.
I can't ever imagine signaling for a break as I'm trying to earn more minutes.
Well, that's true, but I think a lot of that's because of the work, as you mentioned, Hammer, he's been doing on the defensive end. He's working his tail off, and I think if he figures he's got to get into the rotation and he needs to bring that effort on the defensive end, if you're a bit tired and you can't apply yourself, then it may hurt him. So if he's that mindset, then it's probably a good thing that he asks for a spell, has a quick one, regroups, and comes back out with the same intensity.
Sobey, an 87% free throw shooter for Adelaide last season in the NBL. Led the competition in assists at 5 a game. Top 10 in scoring, 16 a game. He's got 4 of 4 from the stripe here, Sobey. Australia a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Canada hasn't taken a free throw so far. And the Boomers have a 5-point lead inside 2 minutes to play, term number 1. Aaron Best retreating away from the D. Kajami Keane, hands over. Here's the strong man, Owen Klassen. He shares it outside. Tommy Scrubb fires, and it's all the bottom of the net. Nice punch off the bench there.
That is far from pretty for Scrubb, but I tell you, he is very, very effective. Don't worry about that.
Nick Kay with it, top of the key. Ingles Got away from Tommy Scrub initially. Goes back to Kay, and now Sobey. Trying to work into some space under pressure. Nice hands, O'Shea Brissett. Gets it back for Canada. Kajami King takes on Bolden, the athletic man, and that's a good effort. Undersized against Bolden. He took it hard to the rack, and he's drawn a foul.
43. Hands foul.
There's that shot deep, as you mentioned, Hammer. Not the prettiest thing you'll ever want to see, but it doesn't matter as long as it goes in and drops it in. And there we see the foul in the transition. Hammer, there's been a few turnovers so far with guys trying to penetrate and go off the dribble. It's not the way of the world these days, but I'd like to see the Australian team a bit more low post action. And that's not necessarily to finish it, but it's a great passing position when you're throwing it down low.
Bolden did well there against multiple defenders to keep that alive. Creek back for Sobey. Now Ingles. Little over a minute out from quarter time. Jingle and Joe still can't get it to fit. Loose ball came to Nick Kay. He rushes back to the hoop, rattle around the rim, wouldn't fall. He's back at it again. Great hustle. Nick Kay keeps it alive for the Boomers. Bolden, this time Joe. Not happening for him at the moment. He's none of 4 from the field, none of 3 from deep.
Well, and good looks. They need to be able to stay with it. Great extra pass from Jonah Bolden, who sensed Ingles in the corner. You need to be able to get him some easy ones, get him going, because we know he's all class.
If you're talking about Australia being a top 4 team, they are the shots that Joe Ingles must make. As we spoke about before with Chris, he brings a lot to the table, but they're the ones you're expecting him to knock down.
1 of 6 from deep last night, Ingles. None of 3 so far here. Kajami King. He tried to draw contact off Sobey. Referees weren't buying it, and Sobey's got the rebound off. Slip from his punches. Kay getting down and dirty, but can't keep it alive. And now
24, we have control here. Put it to 21.
We're going to reset the shot clock.
Sure, it's the correct call, but I'm not sure Nick Nurse wanted that, because there's a penetrating option that play was probably going to finish. There you are, he's getting to the basket, probably got his head and shoulders in a position where you feel like you can make a play on the rim, and got bailed out by the ref pulling it back because of the shot clock reset.
Canada have grabbed the momentum here. He scored 10 points to 4 in the last 2 and a bit minutes. And the danger man, O'Shea Brissett with it now, working on Nick Kay, showed him some tricks, step back and knocks it down to put Canada back in front.
They just continually make big shots. They did it last night, and they've done it so far tonight.
Here's Ingles. Quarter time beckoning. Ingles penetrates, looks off the D. Couldn't finish it from close range. Will be disappointed with that. His shooting woes continue for Big Joe. None of 5 from the field. And after Australia enjoyed a 7-point lead at one stage, Canada are back on top at quarter time. It's Canada 18, Australia 17. More from the RAC Arena here in Perth in just a moment. back to Perth, but next week we head to Melbourne, a 24-hour city bursting with art galleries, iconic laneways, a brilliant live music scene and an unrivaled sense of style. But more than anything, it's known as Australia's sporting capital and a global event city attracting the best of the best. Melbourne is the home of basketball in Australia and is set to welcome the biggest names in the sport as USA basketball team takes on our homegrown heroes, the Australian Boomers. It'll be in front of 55,000 people at Marvel Stadium. These games are not to be missed, so tune in on Thursday the 22nd and Saturday the 24th as the Boomers tackle the USA.
It's going to be fantastic. I believe still a few tickets are available, so if you want to get out there and see some fantastic basketball and an incredible atmosphere, that's the place to be.
United States defeated Spain overnight, 90-81. And Donovan Mitchell top scored for the USA with 13. And Chris Middleton 12, Kemba Walker 11. They've named a 14-man squad.
Yellow. Okay.
And we'll tell you more about that later. But we're underway here, term number 2.
Clear.
Canadians have scored the last 6 of the game here to retake the lead. Shot clock works to 10. Aaron Best with it. They stood off him, and he makes Nick Kay pay as Best comes up with his first score in the game.
Well, they're hot. 50% from the field to 25% for Australia. The one thing that Australia has done better tonight is they've forced 6 turnovers in the first quarter as opposed to only 9 for the entire game last night.
Yeah, certainly a better effort on the defensive end, and that's noticeable with the intensity.
Here's Bolden looking for the penetration. Oh, he's stopped in his tracks. Strong start from Klassen and Brissett to keep him at bay.
Look at this step back. They're playing with such confidence, and you've got to have the skill to do it. But I give a lot of credit to Nick Nurse. He's obviously instilled an enormous amount of confidence in his team, and they've looked like they should go in. You know, when some players shoot, you go, oh, geez. Even like some of these shaky techniques, you still feel like you're more surprised when they miss than when they don't go in.
Well, that's where, you know, Joe Ingles and Chris Golding, these guys who haven't been knocking them in tonight, only 1 from 7 from the three-point line as opposed to Canada, 4 from 7. But that will turn around, no doubt about it. These guys have too much class.
And to reset the shot clock here. Nick Nurse isn't thrilled about this. He's suggesting it should have been a shot clock violation.
I agree, Case.
The replay seemed to show that. So Ingles with it to the halfway line. 5 on the shot clock, Joe. Double teamed. Not a lot on offer. Hard to the hoop. Nick Kay isn't going to get it off in time, and Nick Nurse will see some poetic justice in that.
Well, at this level, you would expect that these guys have got to know how long to go on the shot clock. There needs to be some urgency. And when Nick Kay caught that, he was in a difficult position, but he still needs to be able to make a play and give it some sort of chance.
Well, losing control of it there. Aaron Best under pressure from Mitch Creek. Ingles in support. Creek says, I'll go solo and come up with a 2. Mitch Creek gets his first score in the game and trying to wrestle his way back onto the floor against Aaron Best. And now we've got a conversation happening.
Well, Mitch Creek, I think, was pretty keen to make sure that he was going to be the first man up. And probably a little disappointed he didn't draw the foul. And just boys being boys, I think. Case, here it is. Great ball pressure. Plenty of contact. And then there's the shot. Actually not as bad, but then just a little bit of
holding. That's all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to get up first.
Yep. That's all right.
Not a lot of it is there.
Well, I like the fact that Mitch Creek is up the court. As a 3-man, he's got tremendous toughness and mobility.
Well, that's really his go.
And ability to be able to wrestle.
But that's really what he's going to do on the defensive end, is those hustle plays that he excels in that area.
Almost 90 seconds played, term number 2. Canada without a starter on the floor at the moment. Ingles may have got away with one there as well. Tommy Scrub's off the mark for the long-range attempt. Glidden gets the rebound, and now Kay. So Dellavedova and Ingles the only starters on the floor for Australia at the moment. Bolden had good position early against Tommy Scrub, but they couldn't find a passing lane to him. Here's Kay for Glidden. We found an opening. Good outside shooter. Can't connect, though, and that's been the problem for the Boomers in this game. They're 1 of 8 from deep. Canada 4 of 8. And it's a 2-point edge for Canada. Kajami Keane hands over and gets it back from Klassen. Shot clock works to 10. This is Brissett against Bolden. On the retreat once more. Shot clock at 5 now. It's going to fire Kaiser Kajami Keen, and that's why as he knocks down the 3, he's got 7. The margin is out to 5.
And that is just tough. Don't worry about that. But at the other end, Glidden came off on an on ball and sprays up a 3. For me, they need to get it in their best players' hands, allow them to be able to make plays. Glidden takes it when it's a drive and dish from someone else as Daly hits the corner of the backboard.
Yeah, 2 poor shots. Last 2 possession when the game, Canada are getting the advantage. That's when you need a real good offensive set. And in contrast, the other end of the floor, Canada get done.
And it's just not playing to our strengths. It's not what we do. It's not what Daly does. It's not what Glidden does as well. They need to move the ball, set screens, and play together. Timeout
call by Andre Lemanis here. It's at the moment a 7-point edge for Canada. Equal biggest margin we've seen at any stage. Their biggest lead. And pre-game, I spoke to Andre Lemanis about the chemistry that seemed to be lacking last night.
Well, firstly, we just need some time together. That certainly helps. When first time playing in a live game, getting into some defence that jacks you up a little bit, sort of gets you out of rhythm. So, again, hopefully we've addressed some things offensively in the last 24 hours, just through video and spacing a little bit better, which should help make the ball move a bit more, and that tends to lead to good chemistry.
Absolutely, no doubt. You need time together, and you've got to figure it out. And sometimes when you're together and you're playing against yourselves, everything can look great. And that's the beauty of these games. It does expose some weaknesses. And I really like the energy. Mitch Creek was out there, came on, gave him some good energy, had a steal, got to the rim, and then he's out of the game. And just trying to, it's going to be tough, and it's good preparation because that's the role he's probably going to take. But coming in and out of games like that, it is tough on the individuals.
It is tough, but when I put a Canadian hat on, they only announced their coach a month ago.
2 months ago.
So they haven't been together for very long. This is a core group that's been together a long time. So we don't want to be making excuses. We know it's early. We know it's bigger picture stuff to happen in 2 weeks, but we still want to be able to keep improving game in, game out.
True, they have had a couple of games against Nigeria, and that does help.
Landale shares it around the perimeter. Glidden to Ingles. Skip past Dellavedova, shot clock to 10. Nick Kay in the low block, working here against Kem Birch. Muscles his way in a little closer, goes on with a hook shot, rattled around the rim. Oh, Landale grabbed the rebound and then drew a foul. They cannot contain this man at the moment.
I like the inside touch. Get it into Kay down low, made a good move and get to the basket. Obviously, you want a finishing, but both from an offensive standpoint to score, but also to pass. Good to get some more post touches.
And this is the mobility that Landale provides. He normally plays the 4 position, now playing the 5 on cue from Joe Ingles. He goes bang.
Beautiful pass by Joe, and I like the set. Little back pick, throw it up. Good athleticism by Landale.
Well, Brissett going hard to the rack as well, was looking for the answering dunk, and Landale was having nothing of it. Glidden, Landale in support. Glidden decides to go solo, can't finish it, and eventually they put a stop to it through Kem Birch. Here's Phil Scrubb with it now. Good game cooking here at the moment. Canada by 5. Played 3.5 minutes here, term number 2. Hirsch thought he was fouled. There seemed to be contact. There was no whistle. Here's Dellavedova. And Kaiser Kajami Keen on the retreat. Landale, the outside game as well, can't connect. And a chance for Kaiser Kajami Keen to bring Canada back up the floor. Takes on Dellavedova. Caught him out of position with a quick first step. Dellavedova gets the foul. His second first team foul on Australia this term.
There's the backdoor play. Good backdoor pick and finish. Landale gets up and throws it down. Very nice.
Well, I'm going to say that's a soft foul compared to what we saw in the first 6 minutes. So when you're talking about adjusting to international basketball, and that's Daly's second foul, you're calling it soft.
Nembhard back onto the floor, guarded by Dellavedova. Shot clock works to 10 here for Canada. Nembhard casually. Now Wiltshire stepping back against Landale, who was awake to it, forced him into a tough shot. Good read there from Melvin Edgeham to keep it alive for Canada, but they come up empty again. And Baines wants it quickly. Had a mismatch initially. You can outsize Wiltshire here. They get it into the big man, who makes a presence out of himself with the left hand, can't connect. Another 3 from the field now for Aaron Baines. 5.5 to play in the first half. Nembhard left alone again. This time the floater wouldn't finish for him. Ingles got a piece of it. Glidden is there. Back to Ingles. Good hustle from the Boomers. Well supported from the bench, who are up and about at the moment as well. Ingles screen from Baines. Now picks up the dribble, back to Baines in traffic, needs help. Glidden from outside. He caught it deep after his initial shot was short. So Glidden, none of 4 from the field. Here's Nembhard once more, away from Dellavedova, down to the baseline, confronted by Landale. Edgen, penetration, wraparound pass. Landale got a hand on it. Glidden got the loose ball, and now Joe Ingles. Inside 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Canada by 5, Landale with it. 10 points in the game. He leads all scorers. Down low, Edgen with a problem in a mismatch. Landale stays with it, forced into a tough shot. Good cover D there from Melbourne. Edgen.
I know we haven't scored the last 3 possessions, but I like the fact that we've gone in, we've missed a couple of shots and then come back out as well.
Chance now for Nembhard against Dellavedova and Baines, eventually drawing contact. Going to be the second team foul on Australia in this term. Canada has 1 so far.
Matty Dellavedova trying to fight over the top. The help comes from Baines, and that's where he's excelled, this young man, at just being able to control the ball, find the open man or create something for himself.
Again, Australia is not in sync here at the moment, but like last night, again, it's Jock Landale who's putting on a show. 10 points on 4 of 8 shooting, and he is a presence. This has been a magnificent performance, his first home games for Australia.
And the thing about it, the advantage he has, is that he actually went to Summer League. For most of these other guys in the team, they haven't played for 3 or 4 months. And when you can practice all you want, but to get in game mode, that does take a while. Now, obviously they need to do better, but some of these shots that we've seen from Glidden and Goulding, I mean, they should be money, and they are when they're in that groove. But when you haven't played for a while, it takes a little while to get your rhythm.
And we saw the highlights from Landale at the offensive end, but he's been good at the defensive end as well. He's made a couple of plays to be able to protect the basket without having to foul. He's really been able to do well low on the block.
23-year-old, born in Melbourne, spent some high school time in Geelong, of course, went to the university at St Mary's as well. Did a great job in 47 games for Partizan in Serbia. 12.6 rebounds, 1 block on average. And as we've mentioned, 18 points a game at 55% from the field for Milwaukee and the Las Vegas Summer League in July. It's an exciting prospect.
As the Boomers are trying to establish their roles, they're thinking about themselves, and I think you can almost see the wheels ticking. Should I or shouldn't I on some of these shots? And when you have that doubt in your head, any slightest doubt, then it's very, very hard to get to knock them down.
They're 2 of 12 from the field in this quarter, the Boomers. Shot clock works to 6 here. Reaching in, Baines dislodged it away from Kyle Wiltjer. 9 turnovers now for Canada. Australia has 4 in that category. It took over 4 minutes out from half-time. In the corner, Goulding looks inside of the pass, was astray, intended for Baines. Wiltjer scooped it up and hands over now for Andrew Nembhard. Edgen gets past Ingles, confronted by Landale in the paint, and there for a while was Ken Birch, shut down by Baines. Shot clock works to 7 here. Wiltjer had his pass knocked down by Baines. 4 on the shot clock, broken play. Ken Birch gets the offensive rebound. Nembhard shares it with Phil Scrubb, looks for the penetration. Here's Birch once more to the foul line, fires over Baines, can't connect. Edgen kept it alive. Well, Australia cannot get the ball at the moment. It trickles out of court. Andre Lamanis got there, and Wiltjer said they couldn't get a play on it.
Yeah, Nick Nurse is right too. That ball bounced inside the court. Andre Lamanis with quick hands like you wouldn't believe, but Canada had no chance to be able to save the ball.
Spot on, Hammer. That great play by Andre if he gets away with it.
And he has. Have a look at this. And obviously this ball bounces in, and then you can go and save that. Andre Lamanis says, I'm going to take that. And gets away with it.
It's called home court advantage.
Well, they're going to be calling home cooking right now all the way back in Canada.
As they should. I mean, I don't know how the referees allowed him to get away with it.
Well, he was a championship winner in the NBL in '92 with the Southeast Melbourne Magic as a backup point guard. So why not? Here's Birch outside. Wiltjer feeling aggrieved, says, take that. His first points in the game, and the margin's extended out to 8, the biggest we've seen at any stage.
That is pretty. It's almost like an Oscar form, and just nothing in it, just beautiful form. Sweet, just like he was last night.
Glidden gets it from Landale. Screen from Baines. Glidden works to an opening and knocks down the three.
I think Australia, clearly they're getting the ball through more hands, but still the man movement. We saw it 3 years ago in Rio. You had the slice cuts. There was a lot going on. A lot of standing around, but the ball is moving a little bit better than what it was last night.
Melvin Edgen, penetration, ran into Baynes and got no change out of it. Ball spills here to Golding with Ingles in support. Joe not having a good night. None of 5 from the field. Takes them on, draws contact. He's off to the free throw line to try and open his scoring account.
And don't worry about Joe. When the lights come on at the World Cup, Joe will perform. These shots that he's been missing, he's going to be able to knock these down. He's a pro. We've seen it in the NBA. He's been a superstar with Utah. And I like the fact that he's put the ball on the floor and got himself to the line.
You know what else I like? I like the fact that Andre Lamanis has stayed with him, played a lot of minutes in this one, and he understands he's got to get this guy going. And as you mentioned, Hammer, he will get it going. The numbers don't lie. You don't shoot 41% from the NBA line.
Well, and
by accident.
He doesn't lose his confidence. More of a concern is some of these guys that are coming into the team. As you'll see, Big Baynes doing a little bit of damage with that left arm.
Kem Birch is down at the moment, just clutching his jaw. There was contact with Baynes, who was just making a presence of himself. Kem Birch has come off second best here. Took over 2 minutes out from half-time. Aussies have scored 6 in a row here to get back to within 2.
Now you got to play it. You got to play now. Follow the ball. It's on you. It's on me. Know what happened?
No, not really, Matt.
Hardly anything.
Let's go.
Certainly nothing to be able to stay down on the floor about.
No. Just tangled up. There it is. And Baynesy doesn't extend it. Just a little bit of that.
Well, Andre Lamanis is making a flopping gesture toward the referees, and Nick Nurse isn't impressed with that.
Well, I think it's somewhere in between. I'm not sure it was flopping, but it's certainly
exaggerating minimal contact.
Okay, I'll go with that. Right up? Yeah. You just make that up?
Oh, just come to me. Just saw it, assessed it, came out of the north and south.
The pressure up the floor here, provided by Cam Glidden. Wiltshire gives it back to Phil Scrubb. Inside the last 2 minutes of the first half. Back to a 2-point ball game. Firing unsuccessfully there, Phil Scrubb. Mitch Creek the rebound. It's on the floor. Big screen from Baynes. Edgen ran straight into him. I'm not sure about that call from Nico Fernandez.
Well, this hasn't been their best display so far, these referees. There's no way that's a foul. The Canadian just dropped his shoulder. Have a look at Baynes. He just holds right there. That is just a great full-court screen.
It is. Trying to figure out what
has he done wrong?
Clearly nothing, but I'm trying to think about what maybe.
I'm not sure it's clear because it went against him.
Well, the only thing maybe he saw the extension of the arms and he's just made a mistake.
The third foul for Baynes as well, so he sits down here. Chance for Canada with Phil Scrubb to extend their margin. Shot clock to 7. Working into the paint. Birch can't complete it under pressure from Nick Kay. Loose ball out of bounds. Canada possession. Well, that hurts. With Baynes picking up his third personal. He's 1 of 5 from the field. Has 4 rebounds, the most for Australia. Edgen has 5 boards to lead that category in the game. They'll restart the ball to Phil Scrubb. Gets beyond Glidden. Kay on the retreat. Here's Wiltshire. Ready to go. Couldn't finish it. Glidden the rebound. Landale first man up the floor. Golding heading in that direction now. Shares it with Mitch Creek in the corner.
Well, great drive and dish. And if Mitch Creek can become a very good three-point shooter, there's no doubt he can play at the next level. Really, that's been the only knock about his game.
And I don't even think he needs to become a very good, he just needs to become a good three-point shooter because he's so much more to his game. But the ability to spread the floor and he can knock down those on a reasonably consistent basis, he becomes very, very tough.
Australia's grabbed the momentum here. Offensive foul is called on Landale as he was hooking around Phil Scrubb. Whistle provided here by Nico Fernandez once more. Landale picks up the foul. It's Australia's 4th in this term.
We didn't see much from that angle. Ah, there it is. It's just a little hole. My goodness. But there was that little hole, just stops the arms coming up. But if you're going to call that, they're going to blow the pee out of the whistle.
Nembhard gets down to the low clock, comes up with the 2 to break a 9-0 run from Australia and put Canada back on top.
Well, that's just too easy. You cannot allow the opposition to be able to drive down the middle in a half-court set with an uncontested layup. It needs to be fixed.
Glidden with it, shot clock at 10. Getting some treatment there from Phil Scrupp. Landale from outside, quarter deep. Wiltshire the rebound. The shot clock 5 seconds inside the game clock as we head toward half-time, and Nembhard happy to slow it down here.
10 of 27, 10 of 37, 27% from the field.
5 of 17 in this quarter, Drew, after they were 5 of 20 at quarter time. Nembhard, pocket pass. Birch had it knocked out of his hands. Shot clock rolls to 4. Birch goes on with it with the left hand, comes up with the finish. He was 1 of 7 from the field before knocking that down. Chance for Australia. Last play of the first half. It's goal in from half court. Oh, he caught the backboard and the rim, but couldn't get it to sink. And at half-time, Canada, who led by a point at quarter-time, will enjoy a 3-point buffer. It's half-time here at RAC Arena in Perth. Canada 33 leads Australia 30.
Yeah, and really Australia would consider himself lucky to be as close as this, only shooting at 26% now, 10 of 38. And they've done a decent job on the defensive end, but they've got to just find a way to put the ball in the hole. And I'm sure that's going to be the focus of the half-time break with Andre Lamanis.
So they've got plenty on their plate at the moment. Last night's game at halftime, it was a 10-point lead in favour of Canada when it was 46-36. It's 33-30 here at the moment. Going to try and get some reaction from one of the Boomers here at the moment. We'll just track that down, but certainly Nick Nurse, well, he's playing with the bank's money, so to speak, here, having won last night. And he'll go in at halftime here with a 3-point buffer as well. And we will get a word with Jonah Bolden. He's standing by with Shane Hill.
Well, Jonah, it seems like Australia came out with much better intensity at the defensive end tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach kind of emphasized that going into today's game. Teammates, we all kind of came together and wanted to emphasize that, knowing that we kind of lacked that last game.
Seems like the guys are getting some great shots, and we know there's so many class shooters just not going down at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the game of basketball. Like you said, we are a group of shooters. There's up to 6 shooters, guys that can shoot the ball. So they know that when they get it, just to shoot it, whether you've missed the last 2, made the last 2, if you're open, coach has the faith in us and just shoot the ball.
Good stuff, mate. Good luck in the second half.
O'Shea, this is a tightly contested first half. Australia have come out hard. What are your thoughts?
Coach told us that coming in, they're going to come out, swinging and try to get in us. But just something that we have to be ready for. It's good for us, going forward. So coach is going to tell us what to do, and we're just going to come out and execute.
What do you think your thoughts are to continue to keep this effort down from this Australian team?
Like I said, it's good for us, and we know that. So we're not looking at it any other way but a learning point. And we're going to take this first half and, move on and, just try to keep getting better.
All right, good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
O'Shea Brissett there with Corey Williams. They're doing a good job of it at the moment. Canada, they're in front at half-time by 3. Had an 8-point edge there during that term. We'll come back and show you some half-time highlights and a whole lot more when we return to RAC Arena here. The International Basketball Series on our way to the 2019 FIBA World Cup. Welcome back to RAC Arena here in Perth. Low-scoring affair. Australia led by as many as 7 in the opening term. Canada by as many as 8 during the second quarter. But as we reach the half-time juncture, it's Canada 33, Australia 30. Neither team playing as well as they can. Certainly the Australians are sitting, fighting down hard and trying to get things happening here. But full credit to the Canadians. They've got the answers as they had last night. Shane Hill, Andrew Gaze, what have you made of the first half?
Well, if you weren't looking at the scoreboard, you'd think Canada's up 20. So Australia's done a good job, considering the way they've been shooting the ball, to actually still be in the hunt at the moment. And I expect those shots to go down. We keep saying it, but I think they eventually will.
Yeah, I think that Andre would be pleased with the intensity on the defensive end. Compared to last night, you can see a noticeable change. That's what we desperately needed to see. At the other end of the floor, a little bit better ball movement, but still not that cutting man movement. And they just don't look like they're in pristine game shape, which you'd expect when most of them haven't played for 3 or 4 months. But they need to get on the same page pretty quickly, and those shots need to be dropping very quickly if we're going to be competitive in a little under 2 weeks' time when we play these guys, when all the marbles are on the line.
At the World Cup in China. Well, both teams made 2 changes to their starting 5 for this game. No Paddy Mills and no Andrew Bogut. If you've joined us late for Australia, they won't play. And the Boomers, well, they were energised early on, trying to make amends for last night's disappointing performance, but everything they brought to the table, well, Canada seemed to have an answer.
Well, they did. They made big shots, Canada, but the Australians have forced 10 turnovers in the first half, only forced 9 for the entire game last night. So that's a significant change, and well done to their defence to provide a little bit more energy. But what they really need, and that man on screen, Landale, who's been sensational, one of really the small shining lights on the team at the offensive end so far, they need to turn those turnovers into points in transition.
Yeah, spot on, Hammer, and I think that so much of our game is coming from the perimeter as well. The way in which to try and get to the basket, do what Canada has been doing to us and work off the dribble a little bit more and get to the rim. Just trying to find that balance is what they've got to figure out.
There are top scorers for you so far. As you can see, Landale in double figures. O'Shea Brissett, who started last night but comes off the bench tonight, has been influential. He has 9. Really like Kaiser, Kachami, Keenan. There are the overall numbers for you. And, well, the Boomers, they were 1 of 7 from long range in the first quarter, 2 of 7 from long range in that second term. But they've really had good looks that they haven't been able to knock down.
Well, they have, and that's what we keep saying. They will be knocked down. Joe Ingles, he's a superstar. We know that. He's been dry so far in the first couple of games, but hopefully it comes in the second half.
And sometimes, Hammer, you know, in these types of games, motion for the sake of motion is sometimes a good thing. Just to loosen things up, spread the floor out, provided you know where that destination is going to be, just to get that ball and man movement and try and be a little bit more disruptive for the defence.
We'll take a look at the Australian Boomers shot chart so far in the game. And Hammer and Drew, what do you make of this where they're getting their shots from? As you can see, overall 10 of 38 from the field.
Well, I think they've done a better job tonight trying to get a few post touches, particularly for Landale, who's got a height advantage when he's playing that 4 spot. So I think the more they can do that, better things will happen. And then finally, once they make a few shots, they'll have to stay back out on the 3-point shooters.
And that right there is a typical shot chart that you're going to see. As you can see, no mid-range. And that's Andre Lemanis' policy. He wants to either get to the rim or he wants the 3 ball. Now, I think somewhere in the middle, you've got to find that balance, because there's some guys out there, I think, that may be actually better in the mid-range than they are from the 3-point line. But that's the style of play. That's the way the game is evolving. Just got to be able to knock down shots.
Hammer, you've coached at National League level here in Australia. If you walked into the change room now and had one thing to say to the team, what would you look at?
Well, you want to give the guys confidence. I think you'd be running plays for the best players to get their confidence up. Guys like Joe Ingles, he's got to play off the pick and roll. He hasn't done that a lot so far. I'd be investing time in those guys. Let the role players be their role players. Sit at the 3-point line, but play through your best guys.
And Andrew was a National League coach here in Australia last year. If you walk into Canada, I think you're pretty happy with the way things are going.
Yeah, my word. Kevin Pangos not playing tonight, getting some minutes, having a look at the roles that you might have from some of the other players, and continuing to execute the way they are. They're knocking down shots. They seem to, like you referred to, be playing with the house's money, and when you're in that mindset, it becomes pretty tough. Every shot they're taking, they've got a belief that it's going in, and they're doing it a lot better than Australia.
Well, last year, Canada sent a college team to Australia for the Commonwealth Games, and we blew them out by 40 on both occasions, including the gold medal game. And one of the players was Mitch Norton, who starred in that lineup. He's standing by with Corey Williams.
Mitch Norton,
NBL champion from one of the most successful basketball organizations in the NBL. 33 consecutive finals appearances, 9 championships. Tell me, what makes the Perth Wildcats so good?
I just think it's the professional environment that you're in every day, and the competitive environment as well. You know, you've got guys that have kind of driven that you know, pride and courage to get better each and every day. And, you know, that was obviously led by guys like Damo and Jesse and Sean Redditch and Greg and all those guys. So when you're around that type of environment and you're given all the tools to get better, it's hard not to succeed.
Talk to me about the impact of superstar Bryce Cotton for the NBL and the Perth Wildcats.
I tell you what, it was hard to guard him when I didn't play for Perth, and now I get to go against it every day. So you walk away from some trainings thinking, geez, why do I play this game? But you know, when you get to defend him each and every day, he definitely makes you better as a defender. He's really selfless, and when you're around those type of guys that encourage you to be better, it makes for a really good environment.
Now you know the Perth Wildcats are the team to beat this year. My pick for sure. The Sydney Kings, yes. Really? My pick, yes. The Sydney Kings and Melbourne United have reloaded. Do you look at those two teams as your competition this year?
Well, I mean, I think those two definitely have to be out there. Sydney obviously getting Casper from Melbourne. You know, he's a tough guy to guard, and he plays both ends of the floor as well. So that's going to be a big asset for him, for Sydney. And Melbourne have gone out and got, you know, Mello and Shaw Long. So I'm really excited to get out there and get this thing rolling.
Terrico White signs back with your club. How important is he to your team?
He was massive for us. You know, there was naysayers, you know, throughout the season about him and things like that, but towards the business end of the year, he really picked it up, and he seems to come back, and he's really talkative this year, and I'm not sure how to take that.
Last question for you before I let you go. How big will NBL 2020 be?
I think it's going to be massive. From, you know, the first year that I came in, 2 imports, and now you're getting 3 imports. Most of them have NBA experience. Then you got next stars coming in who are, you know, potential NBA players. I might start shaving this beard so I look a little younger. Try to keep up with them.
Thanks, Mitch, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Mitch Norton there with Corey Williams. He is a winner. If you'd like to be a winner, well, check out this incredible free competition we've got coming your way. Simply download the NBL app to enter the See Incredible, Win Incredible competition, and you'll go into the draw to win a $30,000 prize pack that includes a car and heaps of other incredible prizes. Get to it now, the NBL app, and you can go into this fantastic competition. We have got a terrific 2020 NBL season coming your way. Here's just a taste of what you can expect.
Golden goes for a monster! Come down! Blocked by Bogan. What about that for a highlight?
Next year, I will be going overseas to play in the Australian Basketball League with the New Zealand Breakers.
Next year, take my talents to the NBL and play for the Illawarra Hawks.
I think it speaks to what the NBL is doing and how attractive of an option this is.
Here's Didi, got by Allen, what a finish, Brazilian style.
Terry Armstrong has decided to sign with the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix in the NBL. Oh, everybody wants to play in Australia.
Welcome back to Perth, Game 2 of a 7-game international series leading up to the 2019 FIBA World Cup, where things can get physical at the international level. No man better suited to that style of play than Aaron Baines. More than 400 NBA games in 8 years. Championship winner with the San Antonio Spurs in 2014 as well. The Hammer is certainly going to have to find some offense here in the second half. The Boomers, they trail by 3.
Well, they are. They certainly haven't shot the ball well over the last game and a half. They're 9 from 47 from the three-point line, which is a massive surprise. That man on screen, though, look for him to step up in the second half. Hasn't been great from the field at all. But it's not a worry in the world because he's been there and done it. Some of the other guys you've got more concerns about that probably haven't performed on the international stage that need to get some confidence in these games. Joe will turn it on when it gets to money time, no doubt about it, but he will certainly want to be able to put some points on the board to help his team get a win in this second half.
Yeah, spot on, Hammer. He's got a significant body of work that he can fall back on to say, well, that's going to be good, and hopefully when the bright lights come on that he'll step up. And this is an opportunity for others. Chris Goulding's one of them. He needs to knock down some shots.
Set to go in the second half. Canada winning game 1 last night by 20. They lead by 3 as we get underway. Both teams back to their original starting 5s, and Dellavedova resumes his battle with Andrew Nembhard. Baines sets a strong pick as well. Dellavedova goes on with it, top of the key. Ingles, penetration for Baines at close range. May have travelled, goes unwhistled, can't connect nonetheless. Ingles got a piece of the action, kept it alive, and now Goulding and Baines combine to give another opportunity to the Boomers. Shot clock rolls inside 10 seconds though. Goulding got away from Nembhard, got a good look at it, pulls off the triple, comes up with his first score in the game.
And as we spoke about, Chris Goulding is one of those guys that needs to knock down some shots because he's that sort of guy. If he knocks one down, a second and a third can follow very quickly.
Look at the on-ball pressure, picking him up. Good work by Chris Goulding.
Edgeham got a good look, and he's got the answering triple with his opening score in the game.
Case, this has been the story of the 2 games. Every time we seem to get, or Australia seems to get some momentum, Canada good enough to come down and knock down shots.
Landale, too nimble, too strong, too good for Kyle. Walter gets it done, draws a foul.
Australia need to continue to go back at that as we see that Goulding 3. But I reckon Wilshire's his weakness to his game is his defense. He doesn't look physically strong or mobile. We know he's a great shooter, but Landale with just too many moves down low.
Yeah, he can't play behind like that, and just got to try and prevent it from getting in there because, as you say, Hammer, he doesn't look all that nimble of foot to keep anyone in front of him.
Landale up to 13 points, only player in the game in double figures, including 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 5 of 10 from the field. To go over a minute played, term number 3. We're on level terms. Biggest margin we've seen at any stage was an 8-point edge for Canada, term number 2. Here's Edgeham to the elbow, stops, pops, knocks down the shot.
That's the story of Canada's offense. They do really, really well in those on-ball situations, and just conceding that short chippy and that mid-range hasn't worked on the defensive end. As Baines gets things rolling with the 2-hand tuck-in stuff.
I will say it again. You put Joe Ingles in a pick and roll and good things happen. That's his 3rd assist.
And Birch with it, top of the key, given some latitude. Hands over, could have been foul, Phil Scrubb, went unwhistled. Birch, tough shot over Baines, rattles around and tumbles for Birch. He's got 6 in the game now.
Wow, they just keep coming up with the goods.
Big moments, and they've made big plays.
Well, the last 2 possessions that Australia scored have been from Landale down low and Joe Ingles in a pick and roll. And that's where I think Australia need to come back and play off the same things, get multiple possessions of things that have worked. Because let's face it, there hasn't been a lot of things that have worked over the last game and a half.
No, and that's been good by Joe Ingles. You saw that the replay there, the way he can thread the needle.
First turnover of the game on that occasion for Dellavedova. Australia 3 of 4 from the field since half-time. Canada 3 of 3. A miss for the first time. Landale off the miss from Phil Scrubb. Goes to Dellavedova. Ingles. Landale calling for it. Dellavedova decides to fire top of the key. Can't connect. Delhi's now 1 of 4 from the field. Nembhard with it for Canada. Wants to take on Dellavedova. He's done that all night. Feels he's got the better of him. Look away pass. Berg steps into the paint, confronted by Baines. Contact. Bale's going to be called on Baines here. That's going to be his 4th personal.
Well, that's tough. Bolden's about to come into the game now. Really good post move from the guard. But Daly's another one. And again, we've spoken about the fact that he's changed his shot a little bit. He needs to see that ball go through the net. I think it's been a good change. I think it'll be for the better. But when it's all about confidence, it doesn't matter how good you are, you need to see it go in.
But when you're 1 of 13 of your last 13 shots, I'm not sure that last one was a good one. It's early on in the offense in the first 8 seconds. Yes, he's open. Absolutely, he's open. But I think when you're in that mindset, get a few cheapies, find something easier, or have that same shot in the last 8 seconds of the offense rather than the first 8 seconds.
I'm not with you on that. Matthew Dellavedova is going to be an integral part of their success in a couple of weeks, so he needs to see it go in.
First free throws for Canada since quarter time there as it comes unstuck for the Boomers once more. Ingles throws it out of court. Different wavelength with Jock Landale. Turnover count 9 for Australia, 10 for Canada. 2-0 Australia turnovers since half-time. 3 minutes played, term number 3. Margin is 4. Nembhard leading them a merry dance at the moment, creating all sorts of havoc for them. Now the shot clock rolls to 6. Penetration against Bolden. Oh, thrown in! Melford Edgem with the left hand, puts a lid on it.
Joe Ingles was calling for goaltending, offensive goaltending, but not here. Not in international basketball. That is very much legal.
The Canadians skip away here. They've scored the last 6 points to lead by that number, and Ingles looking to get something working. Golding in the corner overcooked it. Edgem the rebound, and they're off and running through Phil Scrubb. Energised. Canada come forward once more and able to keep Australia at arm's length right throughout this 2-game series as Melvin Edgem retreats away, harassed by Dellavedova. Shot clocked at 10. Here's Kem Burge, got away from Ingles, pulls it up. They've scored the last 8. They lead by 8. Timeout Australia.
Here's a little herky-jerky shake and bake. There's the shot. Now, Hammer, if in fact that wasn't a pass, it is goaltending. It's offensive goaltending. If that ball's on the way down, now if it's a pass, it's got to be equal for the offense and the defense. So that's where it's a judgment call, as I understand the rules. But they're saying, well, if you know that it's a pass, absolutely you can go ahead and throw the alley-oop.
Well, Canada doing a great job here at the moment. Nick Nurse still has to decide his final 12 going to the World Cup. I spoke with him pre-game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. I think, you know, we got some personnel decisions to make first and foremost, which is why we're playing the whole bench and playing. Even tonight, we'll probably play a lot more of the younger guys. I've got to figure out which one of those guys can stand in there and be amongst our top 8, not let alone our top 12, our top 8 that's in the rotation consistently. So that's the first thing I got to figure out, who's gonna fit in and nicely in the role and be able to handle the pressure.
And that's what we've been referring to, Hammer, throughout these couple of games. You can only play 8, maybe 9 guys, and that's what he has to discover. It's, you know, your 10, 11, 12 can become very important if you get an injury, but ultimately it's very difficult to play 12 guys in an international event.
Corey Joseph will join the team in Sydney. We haven't confirmed yet whether he's actually going to play in Sydney, but Nick Nurse told us last night that he will definitely be part of the team to go to China in 2 weeks.
Hey, sorry, if he's been watching these games and he's seeing Andrew Nembhard play, he might be thinking, gee whiz, I might need to get back here super quick or else there may be no PT for me.
Those games on Tuesday and Wednesday, Canada against New Zealand. Looking forward to that. I hope you can join us for our coverage, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And they'll be live streamed via SBS On Demand. This is Bolden with it, Landale, given some latitude. Golding. Lob pass. Bolden from close range, rejected by Kem Burch, who was having none of it. They've got all the answers here at the moment, Canada. They lead by 8. Burch did it at the defensive end, and now at the offensive end, it's 10 unanswered points from Canada.
It's a clinic. Very efficient, both ends of the floor. They don't get rattled. They're able to play through any pressure.
Dellavedova with it, 10 on the shot clock. Bolden fires, comes up with a finish, his first score in the game.
Well, that'll do his confidence a world of good, no doubt about that. He adds a different element of athleticism to this team, so if he can start playing a role, it will be valuable.
Again, Canada able to get into the paint easily, couldn't convert on that occasion. This is Bolden, got in the air. Dellavedova's caught it in rhythm. Nice.
Good pass, good find by Bolden. Exchanging of the roles there. Big fella to little fella, and he knocks it down.
Back-to-back threes from Australia. They're back to within 4. But look at Edgem. Euro step his way down to the baseline and come up with the 2 as well. 9 in the game for Edgem. And they've all come here in the third. Dellavedova, back-to-back threes.
That is huge for his confidence right now. Matthew Dellavedova, after his first game and a half, to be able to see that ball go through, as there's a little bit of chirping going on here between both teams, and Bolden, he's chirping more than all the others.
Hammer just had a little flashback. Looked a lot like his dad then, and just there was some quivering going on, because when you talk about the man that had the biggest, scariest look, as we take a look at Dellavedova, and nothing but cotton there, beautiful shot. And what's even better is if you go back to back, very nice.
And that's what I was saying before. As we know, as shooters, you just need to see it go in, and hopefully he will be on a run now, as Birch is very chippy.
So Birch just serving it up there too. Jonah Bolden, you mentioned his dad Bruce. Andrew, 480 NBL games, 17 seasons, grand final MVP, and it would appear that Golding's going to the free throw line.
I think there might have been a little interaction with him and Birch.
Yeah, he called
on the rebound, and technical foul called. So all it is one penalty free throw, and play resumed from where it was when the foul was called.
And I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Creek giving Bill Scrubb plenty to think about at the moment as he brings Canada back up the floor. Under 4.5 minutes left, term number 3, 2-point game. It's been as big as 10 in this quarter in favour of Canada. Inside they work it. Klassen against the undersized Creek. Here's Brissett taking them on. Heavy contact with Nick Kay. He got value for money for that foul. Free throws to come. Nick Kay picks up his first personal, second team foul in this quarter on Australia.
And that's the advantage Australia's got when Mitch Creek's on the floor. That time he picked up the point guard, but they went into a switch in the pick and roll, and he was able to be able to defend the big guy when they threw it into the post.
Free throw count, Australia 9 of 10 so far in the game. Canada 3 of 4 up to this juncture. Very impressed with O'Shea Brissett. Started last night, comes off the bench here in game 2 of the series. 4 of 5 from the field. He's into double figures, and only Ken Birch with 12 has more for Canada. Overcooked the back end. Quick whistle provided here by Nico Fernandez. Foul's going to be called on Australia. Continuation obviously waved away. It looks as though Nick Kay has picked up the foul, and it's his third personal. In fact, second personal, correction. A restart will come from Andrew Nembhard. Trying to keep it alive. Klassen, Kay did well. Now he's got Dellavedova. Attracting plenty of attention at the moment. Goes on with the dribble. The pass of Bolden setting the task. He went behind the back for Golding.
Party time now. The Aussies. Great pass from Bolden with his left hand. Knew exactly where Chris Golding was. Free throw line extended. Who went whack?
And Nembhard with it. Guarded by Dellavedova. Works into traffic. Now has Bolden to contend with. Just buffeted toward the baseline. He stepped out. They've coughed it up.
Another great defensive set. If you have a look here, Bolden just out of control a little, but good enough to find Golding with the behind-the-back wraparound pass, and Golding's feet set, knocks it down.
So back on level terms, Australia. They did this last night as well. They were on level terms with 3 minutes to play in the third, but Canada found a way home to win by 20. Shot clock rolls to single numbers here. Nick Kay hands over Dellavedova. Single coverage and a mismatch here against Owen Klassen. Step back, tough shot. Klassen's recovery was excellent. Deflected the shot. It's spilled to Bolden. Shot clock expiring in the background. The 2 counts, and the Boomers get back on top. Well, they've taken the lead in the third here on the back of a 5-0 run. Inside 3 minutes remaining. Nembhard against Kay. Lost control. Scoops it back up. Spins baseline beyond Kay. Kajami Keane in the corner. Overcooked it. Bolden wrestling with Klassen. Foul's going to be called.
Ooh. It's on Bolden. Getting tangled up. And this sometimes just got to be lucky bounce. And Bolden with literally 0.1 of a second left just gets out of his hands and puts it in. Bolden's been good. It's been active around the basket, knocked down a three, both ends of the floor in the right place at the right time. That last possession and timeout to Nick Kirst and the Canadian team.
So there you see it, Australia leading by 2 with 2:49 on the clock. As I mentioned, USA defeated Spain overnight in a friendly before coming down under to play in Melbourne next Thursday and Saturday. It was 90-81 with Donovan Mitchell top scoring with 13 for the USA. Marc Gasol had 19. Ricky Rubio 16 for Spain. This is the 14-man squad that the United States will bring to Australia. It will whittle down to 12 before they head to the World Cup, which kicks off in 2 weeks in China.
Yeah, I love the team. Very athletic. Chris Middleton, an outstanding shooter. Donovan Mitchell, just a human highlight reel. For me, Jason Tatum, he's a superstar in the making. And Kemba Walker is another one that has grown leaps and bounds throughout the course of his professional career. And he's a bona fide star of the competition as well. Kyle Kuzma, they've got a lot of shooting in there as well, Hammer.
Well, when you talk about Pangos being a superstar, and you're talking about Walker over there in the States, he is a legitimate superstar. I cannot wait until Thursday night and we get to see Walker and Donovan Mitchell roll out, because they're max players.
Oh, my word, absolutely. They are superstars. And no, they are superstars. All right, so just a little bit better than the superstar is what they are. But love Pangos, love his game. It's really disappointing that we don't get to see him tonight, because his game yesterday was an absolute delight.
Really looking forward to those 2 games in Melbourne. Get out and support them if you can. It'll be a terrific contest at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne. Thursday the 22nd from 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And on Saturday from 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And both games are going to be live on SBS Viceland here in Australia and live streamed via SBS On Demand as well.
Nick Nurse has run some fantastic baseline out-of-bounds plays that have got some very good looks. Last night they got a couple of wide-open layups that caught the Aussies off guard that time. A nice little one for the shooter that wrapped around for an open one on the baseline.
It is, and Australia now looking at their smaller lineup as far as their 4s and 5s, with Jonah Bolden playing the 5, Nick Kay playing the 4.
Foul called on Best here. It's going to be his first personal. 3rd team foul on Canada in this term. Adelaide has 4 fouls. Australia has 4 fouls in this quarter.
Well, Jonah Bolden does add something very different than the other players that he's playing with. That athleticism and length in that 5 spot. He's a little bit undersized, but I think he can certainly hold that down. And Mitch Creek's certainly made a difference since he's come onto the court with his defense as well.
Kay couldn't connect. Bolden had a slap at it. That wouldn't tumble either. Here's Kaiser Kajami Keane charging up the floor for Canada. Tick over 2 minutes out from 3/4 time. Klassen. Kajami Keane almost lost it there under pressure from Sobey. Went on with the dribble and off the window. That's a nice finish as well. He's got 9 points in the game.
That's too deep. The guy coming off that screen, postman's got to help out.
Creek lost it, then tried to steal it back from Klassen. Now wrestling with Best. Canada come up with it. And the intensity's lifted here as we head toward 3/4 time. Kajami Keane. Tommy Scrub. Spinning. To get the left hand. Gets it out to O'Shea Brissett, guarded by Golding in a mismatch. Wants to exploit that. Down low, off glass. Nice soft touch.
We say it again, Case. They just keep coming back at the Aussies. Just when you feel like the Boomers have got some sort of momentum, Canada hits back.
Bolden, look away pass. Nick Kay, no room for the shot. Mitch Creek. He penetrates into traffic, draws a foul. And that's the 4th team foul on Canada in this term, and it will be assessed to Owen Klassen.
Hammer, I sort of get the sense in trying to assess this Canadian team that they're playing Australian-style basketball better than Australia. They're relentless down on the defensive end, really efficient on the offensive end. A lot of scrap, a lot of heart, determination coming up with those loose balls.
Creek gets it from Ingles, goes back in that direction. He wanted Bolden. And from well outside the 3-point line, knocks down the long one. He's got 8 points in the game, including 2 of 2 from deep.
Welcome to modern-day basketball when your five-man can set a little screen and then pop out from a metre outside the three-point line and go bang for the big fella.
Fans starting to get energised as well here as the Boomers look for the win. Val is going to send Canada to the free throw line here. Australia over the limit.
Line up 2.
Could be 3 on Bolden.
Just a little push. Went with the upper body rather than the lower body. Comes there, just lean in. See that leaning in when he just got to keep those legs sliding, try and keep him in front. But I tell you what, we see Jonah Bolden, and you can't help but get flashbacks of his dad when he's down low. But you also say, well, his dad was never out there from the land of plenty splashing him down.
Not at all, but how good are our producers? They said he hasn't played much at half-time, but we reckon he's going to have a massive third quarter. He's come up with 8 points, so we interviewed him at half-time.
Brissett continues to impress. Up to 14 in the game, including 5 in this term. Inside the last 60 seconds of the third term. It's Canada by a point. Sobey with it. Oh, casual with the pass. Almost knocked away by Kajami King. Now Kay with it. Looks for the penetration. The pull-up. It's all good for Nick Kay. 7 in the game now for Nick Kay, including 4 in this quarter. And the Aussies back on top in a seesawing affair. This is Aaron Bessie ready to Mitch Creek and couldn't get any change. He's called for the foul. Mitch Creek going to be his first personal. More free throws to come for Canada.
It's a really good read from Nick Kay. Looking at that dribble handoff, it wasn't there. Saw the gap. Really good touch. Here's the foul that was called. Couldn't quite see it.
Couldn't see that left arm. Maybe the left arm reached in, but it's one of those touchy ones that we've seen let go throughout the course of the game, but sends Best to the line. He's going to shoot a couple. Sobey checks out. Golding back in.
Aaron Best to the free throw line. Played in 9 of the 12 qualifying games for the World Cup for Canada. Average 6 points a game. Was 46% from deep.
I love the fact that Canada just continue to attack the paint. So they're shooting a lot of threes. 7 for 17 tonight, 41%. And have a look at Australia, up to 41% as well after a disastrous
26 at halftime.
Yep, 3 from 13 at the half. So they've been exceptional in this second half. We knew it was coming, no doubt about it.
Oh, we've got a 1-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock here as we head toward three-quarter time. Canada up by 1. Golding with the ball carrying G's. Picks up the dribble. Needs help now. Gets it to Creek. Ingles. Shot clock to 10. Guarded here by Brissett. Can't afford to foul Canada. And they have free throws to come now.
And that's a bad foul. Now you want to force Australia into taking a tough shot, but Joe Ingles, a veteran as well, he was going to create that contact, try and force them in to making some sort of contact, but you can't get up and in when you know your team's in the bonus. They're the sort of things that Nick Nurse will want to be able to clean up before the World Cup. You just can't afford to give away cheap shots to a great shooter like Joe Ingles.
Almost unexplainable in that I think Brest maybe thought that they had a foul to give because it was such a poor effort. Almost like it looked like he was intentionally trying to foul him. So maybe not aware of the game situation, perhaps.
Ingles a 71% free throw shooter last season with Utah, where he averaged 12 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. Overall, a 74% free throw shooter in his 400-plus games in 5 years in the NBA. So the Boomers take the lead here by a point. Dellavedova's going to check in, and Joe Ingles will be subbed out for the last 6.8 seconds. They only had 30 at half-time, Australia. They've scored 30 in this term. They're up and about on the bench. So last play, term number 3. Kajami King, guarded by Sobey. Pulls up for the 3. It's off the mark. Dellavedova with it, no time to get an effective shot away, but with 1 quarter to play, the Australians have hit the lead here, and the fans are getting excited in Perth. It's Australia 60, Canada 59. We'll have more for you from RAC Arena in just a moment. at the moment, but next week we head to Melbourne. A 24-hour city bursting with art galleries, iconic laneways, a brilliant live music scene and an unrivaled sense of style. But more than anything, it's known as Australia's sporting capital and a global event city attracting the best of the best. Melbourne is the home of basketball in Australia, and we're set to welcome some of the biggest names in the sport with the USA team heading down under to take on our homegrown heroes, the Australian Boomers. We'll be in front of 55,000 at Marvel Stadium. Don't miss these games. Get your tickets and tune in on Thursday the 22nd and Saturday the 24th as Australia host the USA. And let's see with some razzle-dazzle like this from Jonah Bolt.
Yeah, we'll see plenty of that. There's a lot to like about the USA team that's coming to town. And there's also 70 tons, that's right, 70 tons of video screens that have been imported into this venue just to make sure the experience is all that much the better. So it should be an exciting couple of games.
So Australia on top, outscoring Canada 30-26 in the third. Canada just 1 of 4 from deep in that quarter, going away from what has worked so well for them in the first game and 3 quarters. Kajami Keane with it, shakes Sobey, fires over Creek, it rattled around the rim, wouldn't fall, and Kay the rebound. Gives it back from Sobey. They exchange passes. Sobey exploring, Ingles in the corner. Well, the pass knocked down, active hands coming there from Kazar Kajami Keane.
Well drilled, Canada there. That was a triple switch off that pick and roll. Did it without any sort of communication at all, just read each other. Put that down to great coaching.
Landale. Guarded at the moment by Klassen. Here's Ingles. Well, taking on Tommy Scrubb, firing with the shot clock expiring, couldn't complete it. Athletic work there from O'Shea Brissett to grab the rebound against Nick Kay, and hand over now to Kazar Kajami Keane. Down to the baseline. Tommy Scrubb, guarded by Mitch Creek, picks up the dribble, needs help. Gets it now from Klassen. Shot clock to 10 for Canada. Kajami Keane caught high. Friendly fire. Dances into the paint but can't get it. A passing lane. He finds one now. Gets it to Brissett, who's off the mark. Good D from Australia.
Really good defensive set. A lot of ball pressure. Forced him into a tough shot.
Landale. Nick Kay, guarded by Brissett, likes his chances, muscles his way to the low block, losing balance, feeds outside Landale. Oh, rattled around the rim, jumped out. And Brissett wants to take on Nick Kay. Intelligent work, coast to coast. He tried to leap over them and throw it down. Got nothing though. Here's Sobey, quick release to him, and he adds the 2. He's fouled in the process. And Australia edge out their lead.
Points. Great kick ahead pass from Joe Ingles. Nathan Sobey read it, got ahead, and Ingles with the vision and the pinpoint pass straight out of transition.
Spot on. This is just great touch on the pass. Sobey does a good job reeling it in and using his athleticism, and finishes it off with an opportunity for a 3-point play.
We know he's a reliable conveyance from the free throw line, Nathan Sobey. 87% from the free throw line for the Adelaide 36ers in Australia's NBL last season. He was top 10 in scoring at 16 a game, led the competition in assists as well. As Nick Kay sits down, and Aaron Baines comes back, having picked up 3 fouls in the first half. He'll come back in here.
Hey, mate, you try to put him under your screen. You go on him and you put him on
Good
the
shift
screen. That's what
from Nick Kay.
It's very
5 points, 5 boards. 2 offensive ones, a steal. And Sobey missed the back end there. Can't convert it. They've got problems here, Canada, but work through it well. So it's the Boomers by 3. Almost 2 minutes played in this final turn. The quick shot fired up by Canada. They're trying to keep it alive. Their active hands, Tommy Scrubb, can only knock it down out of court.
Just seeing signs of vulnerability right now with Canada. Had a couple of open looks that we've seen knocking down. All of a sudden it gets a little tight and they're coming up short.
Ingles had to hit a field goal in the game. Ingles, he was none of 5 at quarter time, Joe, and he's none of 6 at the moment, so just 1 shot. But he has obviously contributed in other areas. Now he can certainly create with 5 assists, which is a game high in that category. Glidden checks in. Mitch Creek sits down. Likewise, Creek, 12 minutes. Here's Sobey. Kajami King going the wrong way. Feeds Ingles. He's overdue.
Only snuck in the left-hand door, but he's just happy to see something go through the net.
He will certainly take it. Really good misdirection too by the Boomers. See another great finish with the wrong hand underneath there. They want to go straight back at Joe Ingles now. And I'd love to see Dellavedova back into the game too after he knocked down 2 triples in the third.
Australia by 4. Sobey penetrates, kicks to the corner. Glidden, favourite spot, knocks down the 3. Cam Glidden comes up with his first score since half-time.
Really good find by Sobey. Got inside the paint, the defence collapsed, kicks it out. Glidden finds an easy one in the corner.
Australia by 7. They've never had a bigger lead in the game, nor the series. Here's Kajami Keen. Penetrating, outside, left-hander fires Tommy Scrubb, can't connect. Baines did well, just holding out Owen Klassen there, leaving the rebounding work for Joe Ingles. They're 1 of 6 from the field in this final quarter at the moment, the Canadians, and none of 3 from deep.
And that's that misdirection. Sobey looking one way. Well, there was a triple screen going on for Joe Ingles, who came off there, but really good finish under the bucket as well.
Aaron Baines did what he does best and set a magnificent screen as Joe Ingles came off.
Landale with the set on his back. Shot clock rolls to 7. Ingles wouldn't fall. A rebound grabbed by Kaiser Kajami Keen. Good screen, solid work from Klassen. They get it down low. Thomas Scrubb outside. Brissett can't complete it. Sobey grabs the rebound. He's first in the game, somewhat surprisingly. Ingles deflected away, out of court. Last touch by Canada's Aaron Best. Australia will restart. Just 2 points for Canada in this term. 1 of 7 from the field now, and they've got 3 team fouls as well in this term, so those signs of vulnerability are expanding. Andrew Gaze told you about. Landale, tough shot, couldn't complete it under pressure. Up the work of O'Shea Brissett. He's everywhere.
Got away with the trouble too.
Here he is, peeling off the triple. It's off the mark. Sobey gets after the long rebound. Quick outlet pass was telegraphed, and that man Brissett's got it again. Picks up the dribble. Close quarters. He's got Tommy Scrubb spinning on Sobey. Feeding down low. Klassen baseline fires. Can't complete it. Look at Landale climb upstairs for the rebound. Knocking it down out of bounds, Tommy Scrubb.
How much different does it look when all of a sudden those wide open shots aren't falling in? And
so true.
Got some good looks, Canada, and weren't able to knock it down.
And here comes Matthew Dellavedova. But good job by Sobey as well. 3 assists. He got Joe Ingles 1. Got Glidden 1 in the corner as well with 2 heads-up plays. 6 points to go, 1 from 1 from the field. But this is the opportunity now for Dalla to play himself into some form.
Clear.
With 5.5 to play in the third, Canada led by 10 points. Since then, it's 30-13. The Boomers, and Ingles adds another 2. He's got 8 in the game.
Well, that's just class. The ball came out from Baines, and it was the pass fake. Canada thought Ingles was going to make the extra pass, but he went to the bucket.
Well, Baines bordering on a technical foul here. The reaction as he picks up his 4th personal was aggressive, and he may have been a little lucky. In fact,
I think that's his 5th.
That is 5. Baines is out.
Not quite there on that play. I think it was the correct call. He was frustrated. You just see him sliding over there. Never really in great position, so that's a straightforward one.
That's the right call, and he's very lucky, because if he does that at the World Cup, that will be a tech foul, 100%. And that would have actually been a bench tech foul.
So Baines out of the game after sitting out last night. 4 points, 5 rebounds. And a chance now for Canada, but they are off the mark. They're ice cold at the offensive end here. 2 of 10 from the field since 3/4 time, including none of 6 from deep. Andre Lamanis is a ball magnet at the moment. He's found it again on the sidelines. Took over 5 minutes to play, and the margin is 9.
Joe Ingles disgusted with himself because he had a wide open Cam Glidden in the corner. Just couldn't quite get it there.
Dellavedova, quick pass. Landale likes his chances. May have been hooking there.
You're right. He's just got to be careful. I've noticed a few times he's developing that habit, putting out the right arm hooking his defender. And it's another one of those plays that interpreted slightly different from league to league, but in the international game, they're going to pull you up on that one real quick.
Keizo Kajami-King checks out for Canada. Dwayne Notice checks in for the first time in the game. Here's Bolden with it. Shadowed by Kem Birch. Well, Dellavedova, good wrestle there. The battle between he and Andrew Nembhard's been outstanding. Nembhard really rising to the occasion against the experienced NBA veteran.
Ingles taking a seat as well. 5 assists and 3 steals.
Andre Lamanis calls timeout here. 4:55 left on the clock. Australia lead it by 9. They led by 7 in the opening term before Canada arrested that and led by 1 at the break. It was Canada by 3 at halftime. Australia took over to lead by 1, 60-59 coming into this last quarter. And since then, well, it's been largely one-way traffic. A 10-2 run to start this term as Australia on top. And will they win from here, Andrew Gaze?
Well, they put themselves in a really good position, and the fact that Canada have gone a little cold, it's helping their cause. And I think Andre Lamanis will be happy to have got some good minutes into some of the players and been able to have a good look at some of the rotations as well.
We should look ahead also to the NBL versus NBA series coming up. Chris Goulding there in the foreground. Well, he'll be with Melbourne United, and they'll go toe-to-toe with the LA Clippers on October 14, and then against the Kings on October 17. The Adelaide 36ers take on Joe Ingles' Utah Jazz to get the series underway on October 6. So much to look forward to as they NBL versus NBA series has been such a success and provided so much to our basketball in so many different ways.
And how much more quality has been added to the NBL next season with some of the imports and some of these next stars coming into these teams. It's going to be an unbelievable year and really equal too. So many teams have the opportunity to be able to make that top 4 and win a championship.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic and helps build the profile and the exposure of the NBL. And some of those young players in particular, there's going to be a lot of interest. And now for the first time, we'll see a little bit 2-3 zone.
Goulding fires, can't connect. Long rebound, tracked down by Phil Scrubb. Nembhard went the no-look pass. Trickles out of court, deflected by Australia. We saw LaMelo Ball arrive in Australia yesterday. It was live TV coverage here. And RJ Hampton in New Zealand, well, he had the cameras flashing as well. There's so much to look forward to for the NBL season coming up on SBS and also by our friends at ESPN as well. Oh, stand by! Kem Birch climbs upstairs and threw it down on top of the Aussies. Oh, he's not done with just yet. 4.5 to play. Australia by 7, looking to tie the series at 1 win apiece. He's got it away from Landale. Feeds outside, working on it now. Phil Scrubb, tough shot. Worked himself into trouble. He's disappointed with that outcome. Australians just need to steady here. It's Dellavedova to the left-hand side. Landale, top of the key. Can't connect. Kem Birch grabs the rebound. He's got 14 points, 4 boards. Birch. He leads the game equally with Brissett, who has 14. Landale, 13. Faces Australia at the moment. Foul's going to be called on Landale. His second personal, second team foul on Australia. But look at Birch.
Very nice, isn't it? Great bounce coming in. And again, another terrific pass coming in there, the force to help, the rotation. When it happens that quickly, it's very, very difficult to get there. And Birch goes upstairs, tucks it in with the 2 hands. And we'll pay credit to the Perth fans. They've come out in droves. 10,543 people in attendance here tonight. Not the usual sea of red, but it's still a fantastic environment.
Great effort. It makes you very excited about what we'll walk into next Thursday night with over 50,000 people in Melbourne.
Extraordinary.
We had around the 7,000-8,000 mark last night here in Perth, so for a 2-game series to draw that sort of interest is outstanding work by the people of Western Australia. So inside the last 4 minutes, Canada has scored the last 4 here. They're back to it in 5. Dellavedova shares it with Bolden. Ingles harassed there by Dwayne Notice. Nick Kay. Shot clock to 10 for Goulding. Dellavedova looks at the clock now. Needs to get busy. Working against Nembhard. Ingles was under pressure taking the shot. Bolden couldn't keep it alive, and a chance now for Canada to close the margin as Phil Scrubb works down to the baseline. Birch, who's doing it all at the moment. Got to use a friendly roll, Ken Birch. He's got 18 in the game to lead all scorers.
Well, Canada have just lived off that pick and roll and been rewarded most times they've gone to it. Certainly going to be something Andre Lemanis has to be able to address.
6 unanswered points from Canada has them back within a single bucket of the Boomers, who go to Nick Kay down in the low block. Tough shot. He comes up with the goods in front of his home fans. Inside the last 3 minutes, an enthralling affair. Bolden stole it. Got it to Ingles. He'll try and keep it alive. Some fancy dribbling skills from Jingling Joe to Golding. He can't convert. Bolden's making things happen here at the moment for the Boomers. Golding in the corner. Gets it from Ingles. Elevates.
Great shot. And that is exactly what Chris Golding is paid to do. Get his feet set. Nothing but confidence and nothing but string.
And what a seesawing affair this has been. Boomers got out to a 9-point lead. Canada closed to within 3. And Australia knocked down 2 big shots to extend it back out now to an 8-point edge. 2:36 to play.
Just incredible hustle plays by Jonah Bolden. Twice on that possession. Goulding finds it wide open in the corner, but credit the work that Jonah Bolden for what he did. When he gets his feet set, one of the best shooters in the world.
Well, Canada, regardless of the result here, having won by 20 last night, are going to be very happy with the contest that they've been provided with. And Jonah Bolden, well, he's done a good job with 8 points so far in the game. But next week, New Zealand and Canada will go head-to-head. Hope you can join us for that Tuesday the 20th from 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and again on Wednesday the 21st, so back-to-back nights. That's what we've seen here in Perth. It's going to be at the Key Centre in Sydney, and it'll be live streamed via SBS On Demand. And the Kiwis will always punch above their weight. Big winners over Japan in the last couple of days.
Yes. Well coached. Paulie Murray does a great job.
Does a great job. Really does. Let's get back to Jonah Bolden. He only played 11 minutes last night, had little impact on the game, but the second half of this game, he's only got 8 points and 4 rebounds, but it's been his hustle work, his ability to be able to keep the ball alive, get into the right spots. Nice pass as well. Great experience for him.
Career highs of 19 points, 10 boards and 4 blocks in the NBA, but Bolden can do it all. Vicious work there from Phil Scrubb, comes up empty, and a chance for Australia to extend their advantage. Canada cannot afford to foul here. They've got 14 fouls in this term. Australia has 2. And as the shot clock rolls to single numbers here, notice undersized against Nick Kay, who goes to Golding. 4 on the shot clock. Golding's penetration needs help. Bolden from close range gets it done. Double figure lead for Australia. First time in the game we saw Canada up 10 in term number 3. For the final term, it's been one-way traffic here at the moment, and Nick Kay happy to slow it down and hand over to Maddie Dellavedova. Just 8 points for Canada in this final term and 17 by the Boomers. As Kay gets it from Dellavedova against Wiltshire. Goes with a left-hand hook shot, and that falls. Nick Kay has 9 in the game now, and that includes 4 in this term. And Australia have a game-high lead. It's 12 points, 90 seconds to play.
And 4 big points. Coming at a critical stage. Come up big with those little chippies around the basket. Good touch, good hands by Nick Kay. Obviously playing on your home court. You've got a lot of confidence, a good feel. It's been good enough to knock it down.
Well, after Canada got back to within 3, Australia has reeled off 9 without reply in 60 seconds. And Kay with it, didn't have a lot to go to, cost it up to Aaron Best, and now Phil Scrubb, guarded by Bolden. A little over a minute left on the clock. Ingles got a hand in the passing lane there, deflected it. Dellavedova couldn't control it. Trickles out of court. Canada will restart, but not before Tommy Scrubb checks in, replacing his brother Phil. Thoroughly entertaining affair. We're licking our lips at what's to come. 2 games in Sydney and then the 2 in Melbourne. with the Boomers taking on the USA. They'll be buoyant after this performance. Wasn't easy. Full credit to Canada again. And look at this. That's nice ball movement. And swinging off the rim, Owen Klassen comes up with his first score in the game.
And it's been a good bounce-back game by the Boomers. We expected them to come out with a whole lot more energy. They did that. We expected them to make some more threes. They were able to do that tonight as well to give themselves some confidence. But they are going to have to continue to improve, taking on the almighty USA next Thursday night.
Still a long way away from where they need to be. But the defensive effort's been more like you'd like to see.
Bolden gets it from Dellavedova in traffic. Through up a party trick and up the window. Jonah Bolden adds to this. He's got 12 on 5 of 7 shooting. Only Jock Landale with 13 has more for the Boomers. Kajami King takes them on. Bolden shut him down quickly, but he kept it alive here. Kazar Kajami King. Tommy Scrubb with it, trying to find Klassen. Undersized was Dellavedova. Can't prevent the two, and Canada knocked down another shot. Nathan Sobey's going to check back in. But look at this from Jonah Bolden. Average 5 points, 4 boards in 44 games in the NBA for the 76ers. He is going to be a big part of Australia's basketball future as we look ahead to the 2019 FIBA World Cup, which gets underway in 2 weeks, and of course the 2020 Olympics, which are rapidly approaching in Tokyo. Well, the pass from Golding knocked down. Good hands there from Tommy Scrubb, who can get upstairs to celebrate. Comes up with another 2. But it's not going to be enough. Mitch Creek for some finishing touches off the front of the rim, but after losing by 20 last night, the Australian Boomers with the fans on their feet have prevailed here by 8. Full time in Perth. It's Australia 81, Canada 73.
Yeah, good bounce back by the Boomers. They had to work hard for it. Canada, they're going to be a handful in that game one. There's a lot being said about the players that aren't there and not as much about those that are going to be there, but those that are going to be there are going to be very, very tough to compete against. But I thought Matthew Dellavedova did a good job of leading the team. Nick Kay come up big down the stretch, and Jonah Bolden got his opportunity. 5 of 7 from the field, those 5 rebounds. He was also very big, and just in general, the body language, the commitment on the defensive end, the intensity on the ball, trying to push Canada out of their stuff. The intent was there. Still need a lot of work on how they're going to deal with the on-ball screening, because clearly Canada got way too many in that department. But all in all, a good performance without 2 of the stars in Andrew Bogut and Patty Mills, who both will be available for the USA games.
Yes, and that is a bounce back that they will enjoy. Patty Mills just drawing the boys in there for a chat post-game here, saying, well, the win by 8 after losing by 20 last night, they can certainly build on that. Still not playing at their best. They out-rebounded Canada here this evening, 38-36. And a lot to like about the way they went about it, given the fact that Aaron Baines fouled out in the process. But again, it was Landale who led the charge for them with 8 points in the opening quarter of the 17 that Australia scored. Full credit to Canada. They led by 8 in the second term. Were out by 10 middle stages of the third, and kept coming there in the fourth to get it back to within 3 points with 2.5 to play before Australia was able to find a way home.
Australia, I think, have got a lot more to give. You saw the shooting still not right where it needs to be, but the execution a little bit better, and they started to get the rewards with the shooting percentages, as you mentioned, Case. They ended up at 40% and a lot healthier. Only 17% in game one from the three-point line, but 37% tonight was a much improved performance.
So 10 players all scored, and one of them was Matty Dellavedova, who finished with 8 points and 5 assists. He's standing by with Shane Hill.
Well, Delly, we know it's not do or die. That's going to happen in a couple of weeks' time, but it still must be nice to get a win.
Yeah, definitely. I think we found some things that worked last game. We just weren't consistent enough, and I think tonight we really focused in on being disruptive defensively and getting the ball moving and really getting it inside. And I think that helps settle the offense, and we got a lot of good looks.
What about yourself? You've made some adjustments to your three-point shot. It looks much better to me. It would have been nice to see a couple go down in that third quarter, though.
Yeah, no, it's always good to see it go down. I've been working hard on it all off-season, so just got to keep trusting it, and it'll pay off.
I know you're passionate about putting on the green and gold. It must feel good again.
Yeah, there's, you know how it is. There's nothing better than pulling on the green and gold, and yeah, just great group of guys, and to do it on home soil as well, we can't take it for granted.
Well done tonight, mate. Good luck over there.
Tough second half for you guys today. You guys fought hard but came up short.
Oh yeah, they punched us in the mouth tonight. Became more physical, more aggressive, all because we came out more physical yesterday. So, you know, we kind of knew that we were going to come with that kind of approach tonight, and, you know, we weren't ready for it.
You were tangled up a whole lot today, I saw, and a lot of jaw jabbering going on today. What was that about?
I mean, you know, they, like I said, they punched us in the mouth. You know, we can't back down. You know, one of us on our team got to show that, you know, that we're tough, and I had to show that tonight. You know, I got to show example for my teammates.
It was back and forth today. Yesterday, you guys got the W. Today, they got the W today. How you feeling going into the game against New Zealand in a few days?
I feel great. You know, we missed key players. We missed key guy, Kevin Pangos tonight, but, you know, we got another back-to-back. We still got to get better for the World Cup.
Thanks and good luck.
No, thank you very much.
Ken Birch was important tonight. 18 points for Canada, but not enough to get them across the line. It's Australia 81-73, 8-point winners here, and they share the spoils. One win apiece in this two-game series. We'll return here to RAC Arena in Perth with a whole lot more, some highlights and all the stats. Stay with us here for our International Basketball Series as we head toward the 2019 FIBA World Cup in China, now just 2 weeks away.